Morning guys, this is Lucy Polgar from Fight Division here with Niall Brown in Bowlers at Manchester for the weigh-in ahead of his fight tomorrow. So Niall, just talk to us a little bit about what we're doing here today.
Yeah, so it's weigh-in day for me and all the fighters, getting ready for tomorrow. So it's been a long camp, so I'm just ready to fight now.
So speaking of a long camp, you have actually been out for about 7 months now with an injury as well. Yeah. On all your posts, obviously saying like you're really excited to get back in, but is there any of that like fear of like sort of ring rust and getting back in after such a long time out?
No, not really, because I've got it off in the gym. Obviously, the first couple of weeks back in the gym, you're getting your time in, you're getting used to being back in, and you're getting your fitness back up. But I'm more than ready now. More than ready now.
So just talk to us a little bit for those who don't know, like what was the injury, what was the issue? Was it with the hand?
Yeah. So I fought here the last time actually. Well, I fought in March, and I think I did it in that fight, and then I fought here in May. And it was just something just didn't feel right, so I went and got it checked out, and it turned out I tore my tendon. So obviously I needed an operation, or it's just going to keep happening. He said it's going to keep happening if you don't get it fixed. So got it fixed, been out for 7 months, and now we're back. Now we're
back, and we're ready to go. So you come from a Muay Thai background. For people who've been following your journey, know that you're heavily involved in Muay Thai. You was UK #1. Obviously, there's just been an announcement that Sky Sports are partnering with One, so that is obviously huge for the sport. How do you feel about that? Obviously, I think somebody asked you this the other day. Obviously, now you moved over to boxing because the opportunities weren't really there in Muay Thai at the time. Now they are. Do you ever sort of like look back and think, I'd love another bash on that?
I think it's great. I think that's what Muay Thai needed, especially the fighters, to get the exposure, because everyone's putting all that time and effort in, and they're getting a win, and it makes you feel good. You feel good about training, but you can't really live off it.
Yeah, there's no money to it,
there's no money, so now there's opportunities for people to make money and earn a living. So I think it's great.
Yeah, absolutely. So you still do train Muay Thai though. We've seen you obviously on your Instagram. You come down and with Miles as well. Sometimes you still get it in. Fitness-wise, like obviously with Muay Thai, you're using like your 8 hooks out of 8 limbs, isn't it? So do you find the fitness level to that is obviously beneficial to boxing, because then when you're in boxing, you can just focus on your hands, but you've got the fitness of all.
Yeah, it's slightly different, because you think training is training, you think you get fit, but no, it's different because you're clinching your elbow in, you're using every part of your body.
Yeah.
Like I said, you're clinching, you get a knee in the stomach, so you're conditioning your stomach. So I think it massively helps with boxing.
Yeah, absolutely. And then talk to us. Obviously, we are here for the weigh-in today, so you can see the officials are here now, and we're gonna get going in a sec. After you've weighed in, what is your sort of like routine? Because I've spoken to fighters in the past who get a little bit too giddy. They like overhydrate. They just go and eat all the food they want. Are you sort of like a little bit more? What's the word? Like sort of. What is the word I'm looking for? More like calm with that, because I imagine I would just like go all out and I'd be absolutely ruined for tomorrow.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, I've done that before, but I think with experience you realise it's not the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Like I've weighed in, and just naively someone's given me a protein shake, like a pint full of milk, and I'd have drank it thinking, oh yeah, this is nice. 10 minutes later I'm in bits. I'll go and eat a massive pizza. But you realise if you stick to what your nutritionist says, which I never used to have a nutritionist, so I've got nutritionists on board now. But if you stick to what they say, there's a process, get your body back to full health.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then after the fight, you can go scram what you want.
Yeah, exactly. So this is another thing that we talk about loads, like the importance of the knowledge in the game and a dietitian or a nutritionist, because, like I say, I've spoken to loads of fighters and they do the same. They get giddy, they overgorge, and then they feel awful for it. Obviously, a dietitian, and all of that sort of stuff does come with a cost. So just talk to us a little bit about. I know you're always like really, really vocal about how important it is to have sponsors. For people who are watching now, like say if there's an amateur fighter and they want a nutritionist but they can't afford it and they're looking at sponsors, like how do we bridge that gap? Like how do you go from being an amateur fighter who doesn't really have the access to that to obviously a pro fighter now who's got that availability?
Yeah, I think just communication and letting people understand like what you're doing and where you're trying to go, and how difficult it can be. Because basically that's how it happened with me. Like I was speaking to a few people who said, I'm thinking about getting a nutritionist, but I just can't afford it at the minute. And you never know, some people are really generous and they'll say, I'll help you out with that. And also Fight Division. I think Fight Division is going to be a massive thing for that. For fighters to be able to monetize the following. Absolutely. I mean, like friends and family can all chip in. If they give you a £5 a month, it's
adds up.
a £5 a month you didn't have, and you can put it towards your nutritionist, you can put it towards your training,
100%.
Getting to the gym. So there's big things coming for Fight Division, so I think that will help.
Absolutely, that's 100%. That is the goal. That is what we do want to do. We want to bridge that gap so people do have the access to these things. And then, obviously, aside from Fight Division and aside from like getting the sponsors themselves, you've just made a really good point. It's the fighters letting people know, because I think sometimes and I think you've been through this as well, it is a little bit, you almost feel like awkward at the beginning doing like self-promotion and being like, this is what I want. But like you said, when you actually do like put it out there and like let people know, you'd be surprised how many people are like, oh, actually, I really want to support you with that. So how did you find that transition of like sort of being obviously very humble and grateful, but also not really wanting to put yourself out there, to now being like, no, this is my goal, this is what I'm doing? How was that transition for you?
Yeah, you don't want to feel like you're pestering people and bothering people, but I've had Niall telling me for years, you need to be a bit more like, be more out there, do you know what I mean? Let people know what you're doing and what you're up to. And for any up and coming fighters, I'd just say, just let people know. Like I said, there's a lot of generous people out there who are willing to help you, even if it's not with money. Like they might give you a lift if you've got no petrol money, or they might lend you your bike to ride to the gym. Like I've been there before, so I feel like just communicate with people and let them know what you're trying to do, and a lot of people respect it. Because it's not easy, and they know that. And you are right, once you put it out there, I feel like people are more willing to be like, they understand where you're coming from then, and they can see where you want to go. So we can see that we're almost ready behind us now, so I will let you go. Thank you so much for chatting to us, and we wish you the best of luck tomorrow. Thank you.